Here is scene 1 expanded to around 1,000 words, written in flowing narrative, no headings, emotional and immersive. The grocery store hummed with low, steady sounds that usually blended into the background, refrigerator fans, distant beeps from the checkout counters, soft chatter from other shoppers, but tonight, even ordinary noises felt strangely amplified. Maybe it was the heavy air before a storm, or maybe it was just how tired Nathan felt. Every sense was a little sharper when you were a single parent navigating the world with a child depending on you. Nathan pushed the slightly wobbly cart forward, one hand on the handle, the other wrapped around the warm, small fingers of his daughter, Emma. She was 4, bright-eyed, and full of curiosity that never seemed to dim. She hopped as she walked, using her little boots to tap out a rhythm on the tiled floor. "Daddy, can we get the blueberry muffins? The ones with the sugar on top? Please, please, please," she asked, drawing out the word as though singing it. He pretended to think it over, rubbing his chin dramatically. Only if you promise not to feed the blueberries to the dog again." Emma burst into giggles. "He likes blueberries." "Yeah," Nathan said with a sigh of mock defeat, "but he also ate my shoelaces last time." She skipped ahead a few steps, then circled back, grabbing the cart handle and trying to push it herself. It barely budged, but that didn't matter. It was their little ritual. She tried, he pretended she was doing all the work, and both of them laughed. They turned into the dairy aisle, the cold air brushing against them. Nathan reached for a carton of milk, mentally scrolling through his list: cereal, vegetables, chicken, detergent, muffins for Emma, coffee for survival. He was in the middle of debating which cheese was cheaper when something tugged at the side of his jacket. At first he thought it was Emma, but when he glanced down, he saw a different hand. Small, uncertain, trembling, he crouched immediately, instinct cutting through everything else. A little boy stood there, maybe 5 years old, cheeks flushed, eyes glossy with the kind of fear that made a parent's heart drop. He held a worn green dinosaur against his chest, the kind of toy a child didn't go anywhere without. The dinosaur's fabric was frayed at the edges, one button eye hanging loosely, but the boy clutched it protectively with both hands, his knuckles pale. "Hey," Nathan said softly, lowering himself to the boy's eye level. "Did you get lost?" The boy shook his head quickly, a jerky little movement. His lips parted, and his voice came out in a whisper so thin Nathan had to lean closer. "Sir, my mommy's crying in the bathroom." The words were simple, but they hit with the force of something much heavier. Nathan's chest tightened, the boy's small shoulders rose and fell with shaky breaths, and he blinked rapidly, as if holding back tears of his own. "Okay," Nathan said calmly, trying not to alarm him further. "Is she sick? Or hurt?" "I don't know," the boy said, gripping the dinosaur even tighter. "She told me to wait outside. But she's not coming out. And she sounded like she couldn't breathe." He swallowed hard. "I got scared." Nathan nodded slowly, absorbing every detail. A child waiting alone, a mother crying behind a closed door. No staff in sight, no one else noticing. He glanced at Emma, who had crept closer, off to the side. Her big eyes darted between him and the boy, her expression questioning. Nathan gently placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "What's your name, buddy?" "Lucas," he whispered. "Lucas," Nathan repeated, offering a warm smile. "Thank you for telling me. That was very brave. Let's go check on your mom together, okay? I won't leave you alone." Lucas nodded, finally allowing himself to take a shaky breath. Nathan stood, took his cart with one hand and Lucas's hand with the other. "Come on, Emma, we're helping someone." Emma trotted beside him, her usual excitement muted as she studied the situation with a seriousness that only children who've seen their parents cry truly understand. The restroom was near the back of the store, by the employee lockers. As they walked, the aisles grew quieter. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, adding to the strange stillness. Nathan felt his protective instincts sharpen. A mother crying alone was one thing, but a mother crying so hard her child had to seek help, that was something else. When they reached the door, Lucas pointed with his dinosaur. "She's in there." Nathan listened closely. At first, he heard nothing. Then, faintly, the sound reached him, muffled sobs. They weren't loud, but they were raw, long, choked breaths followed by moments where the crying cut off, like someone trying desperately to regain control and failing. He knocked gently, not forceful, not intrusive, just enough to be heard. "Ma'am," he called softly, "are you okay?" The crying stopped abruptly. A few seconds passed, long enough for Nathan to imagine the woman wiping her face, holding her breath, trying to gather herself. Then came a shaky voice. I'm sorry, I just need a minute. Her tone was fragile, exhausted, embarrassed. Nathan recognized it too well, the sound of someone who had been holding everything together for too long. It's all right, he said in the same gentle voice he used with Emma during thunderstorms. Your son is here with me. He was worried. We're staying right here. Lucas tugged the door with his free hand. Mommy, he said softly, I'm here. The sound of his voice seemed to break something inside the woman behind the door. A trembling breath escaped her, and Nathan could feel the emotion from the other side. A moment later, the door opened a few inches, then wider. A young woman stepped out. Her eyes were swollen and red, mascara smudged down her cheeks. Her face was blotchy from crying, and her brown hair was tied in a messy bun that had clearly been pulled together in desperation. Her clothes, simple jeans and a faded sweatshirt, were wrinkled, as though she had rushed out of the house without thinking. But what struck Nathan most was the expression she wore, a mix of embarrassment, vulnerability, and an overwhelming fear of judgment. I'm so sorry, she said immediately, pulling Lucas into her arms. Her voice trembled. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just needed a moment. Nathan shook his head, his voice warm and steady. You're not causing trouble. Her knees wavered unexpectedly, and she grabbed the doorframe for support. Nathan reacted instantly, reaching out and steadying her arm. His grip was firm enough to reassure but gentle enough not to frighten. Hey, careful, he said. Let's go sit down. She hesitated, shaking her head, wiping her wet cheeks. I'm fine, really, I can stand. But even as she said it, her legs trembled again. Nathan didn't push. He simply offered his hand, not as pressure, but as support. After a moment, she nodded, surrendering to reality. Her legs carried exhaustion, not weakness. They walked together toward a nearby bench. Lucas clung to her side. Emma followed, looking up at the woman with innocent concern. Maya lowered herself slowly onto the bench, breathing hard, her shoulders sagging as though she had been holding up the weight of the world alone. Nathan crouched a little to meet her eyes. Can I get you some water? Or call someone? She shook her head quickly. No, there's no one to call. Her voice cracked as she added, I'm Maya. A name that sounded tired. Nathan offered her a small napkin, the spare he kept for Emma's muffin crumbs. She took it, pressing it to her damp eyes. Then Emma stepped forward, her voice quiet, almost shy. My daddy cries sometimes too. Maya froze. Emma continued, placing her tiny hand carefully on Maya's knee. When he cries, I hug him. It makes it better. A fragile, broken laugh escaped Maya's lips, followed by a fresh tear that slid slowly down her cheek, but this time, it wasn't the same kind of tear. Nathan watched them, feeling something shift in the air, a softness, a shared understanding, the beginning of something none of them could yet name. And he knew, deep in his chest, that stepping in had been the right thing. For Lucas, for Maya, for Emma, for himself, because sometimes, a single moment, one child's trembling voice saying, Sir, my mommy's crying in the bathroom, could change everything. Her